Do you really know what the responsibilities of mayor are?
Yeah,
Per our charter, now, per our charter.
Uh-huh.
And you also know that the primary CEO of this city is not the mayor.
Right.
It is city manager.
Yes.
So honestly, I think your question is way out of hand.
My question is, would they
It's all it is
would
a
they defend
what
the
if.
citizens?
And
Simple as that. Would they
driving a
defend the citizens?
conservative view. And I honestly don't believe it's a fair one to ask.
Okay, simply put, would you defend the citizens in a situation like that?
That's what the police force does, and courts can do it.
I believe in listening to my professionals and following their recommendations. That's what a real leader does.
Okay.
A leader listens and asks the right questions. Yes, I would be in a position of responsibility, but as Mr. James pointed out, this is not, a tyranny we're talking about. I believe in smart government, not something that's going to, I just believe in using the resources that we do have at our disposal wisely and with discernment. I don't know if that's the city manager and the team of professional law enforcers. They know their craft. I believe in them. They're trained. I expect to have every opportunity to use the resources that are put in front. But I'm not in favor of confiscating weapons based on the questions that I'm being asked.
And I wasn't trying to put that. I was just ended up going that way. I was just. Yeah.
But great question.
All right, we have a comment?
Okay, a couple of comments. Retired military and civil service. This gentleman here and this city here. Wearing the uniform, when I'm in uniform, on the job, I cannot get involved in the politics of things. After that, I can, as long as there are certain borders there. In civil service, it's the same way. So I don't know why the city have this. The city, you're always talking, you guys talking from up, down, or the city's enforcing something that's not enforceable.
It's called control.
Okay. The next thing I'm going to touch on is I have to go back in this 911. 177,000, that's what we are paying according. And we said it was 500, close to, okay, 575, right? So the difference between 575 and 177, that's what we put the value of a life at. That's either my life or one of those cop life on that night. So let's not talk about we're concerned health and welfare, and you mentioned it, man. Safety is always first. So please, if you guys are thinking of something like that, do that. Now I'm going to tell you something. You mentioned that's correct on the crime situation. When they look at the zip code rather than the city. So I hate to bring this up, but I have to. So I'm aware of the way the system is, and you are aware from what you spoke. So I brought up this to our current mayor, right? Myself and Al, we go back from the first time he ran. I walked with him door to door. But after a council meeting, we got to decide a couple years ago, or early, sometime last year. I said, what are we doing about this crime situation here? Because, like you said, it's way high according to what the statistic is saying. Rather than give the answer that you gave, you know what he said? Well, we are putting in this amount of cops and we are doing that and we are doing that. And he got defensive. I would have preferred him to say, well, hey, let me look into that and I'll get back to you. I remember a time in Converse when the cops would be riding around, in the day. Once or twice you see them, or early evening. It doesn't happen anymore. The one or two cops where we have to look at something. We have to look at either we maintain that tax base, increase revenue, like you said, or do something. Because we can't go on and say, well, we reduced tax this year by 0.0001, as was done a year or two ago. That's not saving the people. Penny wise and pound foolish. We watch a penny here and then we're going to destroy something. Okay? Thank you.
Any questions, or are we just on comments now? A question, okay.
I have a comment and a question. My comment is just what I've experienced over the last 30 days. I requested some information from City Hall, and they were working on it. I contacted the city secretary on Tuesday because she called me. I returned her call. She never called me back. Make a long story short, called back 3 times, never heard from her. So I asked for the city manager. She was there. But they told me that they were going to have someone call me back. Well, the one that called me was the city lawyer. I really had my doubts about him during this, but that was just personal. You know, sometimes common sense has to kick in. This lawyer was paid to contact me when the city manager could have picked up the phone and said, this is the status of your request. They were 4 days late in getting it to me. And that's just a comment. If that's the kind of service that the city is giving, changes need to be made. And then I lead to Mr. Suarez. He was not here. I don't know the gentleman. All I know is what my experience was with him. I told you I've been trying to do research because I want to be able to do my research in Antilla. Anybody. Okay, well, his name was mentioned earlier. I apologize. But this was my experience. I requested to be added to Facebook. I was rejected. And so there was a posting on Facebook where there was a meeting with the citizens. So I responded and asked him to share the citizens' comments because he sounded very positive. He wasn't explicit on anything. When I went back to see what he had written, he deleted my comment. What would you all be doing different? You know, I'm hearing comments and everything. There is no transparency. If this is what the mayor does, and he's been, okay, I apologize. If this person has been there for 12 years, and this is the transparency that I got, I would like to know what you all would be doing different, and would you all consider term limits?
Ms. James, I'll take your question first. Ms. Julia, first, I believe in transparency, 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 transparency. I have been a public servant for 20 plus years. That's my career. And when one of my first jobs was as a budget analyst for the city of San Antonio. I served in that capacity for 3 budget cycles. And I can tell you that I helped transform their budget document into a user-friendly document that is now able for a citizen to be able to understand it. Before that, it was gibberish. It was just really hard, and no one understood it. I believe in transparency. I've been criticized about not censoring people on Facebook, but in my estimation, it's a free country. And in a free country, we are all free to express ourselves, whether we agree with each other or not. And so, in my mind, I'm just, I'm one voice. And I believe in listening to as many voices that are going to speak as possible. I'm not in the business of censoring people. I think it's important that we listen to each other and hear all kinds of points of view. I don't know if that answers your question, but to answer your second question, yes, I do believe that term limits are appropriate. And I would strongly ask the citizens to instill term limits in this community. I love this community, but I think it's time that we address that issue. So I would ask for a charter review and a revision on that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna answer you this. You're not the only one that I've run across that says they can't get in. And she won't answer their calls. They've called 8, 9 times. She should have had maybe her assistant city manager call you instead of the lawyer, because that is time, that is money for us, the citizens that are paying the bills. You should have been listened to, because you pay their salary.
Well, actually, full disclosure, I don't live here.
You know, well then citizens, okay, citizens, all these citizens that live here pay, and if you move here, you will pay that staff's salary, okay? You should be respected. Every citizen that calls should be respected by City Hall. Unfortunately, if you're getting that, I apologize. Me, as a councilwoman, apologizes what's going on with you and anybody else. But that's, again, where I said it takes counsel. If you're not happy, none of your citizens are not happy with what's going on, you go out to those polls and you vote. Let your voice be heard. If you sit home and you don't go vote, it's your fault. Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am, it is your fault. I have voted every election in every place since I was 18 years old. I couldn't wait to vote for the president, and I'm not going to tell you who the president was, because then you'll know my age. But I vote every time there is election for president or election in this city. I vote. And I apologize that you were treated that way, and nobody, no citizen should ever be treated that way, because these citizens pay their salary, and they should be respected. Term limits? Yes, ma'am, we should have term limits. I want to let you know, when we first entered council, as a new council person, you get 2 years, and then you have to rerun. It takes you from 6 months to a year, if you've never run, to learn how to read the charter, how to do ordinance, how to deal with citizens. So I think 4 years should be set, 4 years on a term, because it takes you, like I said, 6 months to a year just to learn, and things didn't happen overnight, so y'all got to realize that. I know a lot of people are expecting, oh, we'll vote everybody in and we'll get him, and then everything will get done. But it's not an easy job. I will stand up for council and say that. It is not an easy job. It's not. Because you have to make the right decision. So yeah, I think term limits need to be applied, but at not a 2-year level, 4, maybe 6-year level, because there's a learning curve. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we have another comment here.
Hello. I'm losing my voice because it's so cold. But I wanted to say something to this couple. Excuse citizens.
So hi, my name is Melissa. I'm a student at Karen Wagner High School, and I was just wondering, if you guys are elected as mayor, like whoever's elected for mayor, what would you do for the schools in Jefferson ISD or surrounding districts?
Good question.
Well, first of all, I think that this is going to sound trite, but